So today we're reviewing
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yes, so this is the second Home Alone movie. We just reviewed the first one a couple days ago. We agreed to reviewing the second one. This is the Home Alone week. So
Yep.
what are your overall thoughts on Home Alone?
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. Honestly, I like this movie more than the first one. I think the more I thought about it, I think I really do like this one more. Even though the first one I think is more original to me. Obviously, it's the first one in this series, but I definitely would say this is my favorite one out of the entire Home Alone saga.
Yeah, it definitely is good. I was reading a lot of comments about people saying whether the second one was better than the first. I saw a few people that said it was better, and I'd have to agree. I do think it is better. They're both great movies, but I do think this one is slightly better.
Yeah.
And why don't we get into the overall plot?
Obviously, in this one, he gets left. He basically, it's like the first one, he gets left at home, right, home alone.
Yeah.
This one, they kind of do a little joke on it because originally they act like they left him at home, but they didn't. But then they get to the airport, and it's kind of like a great scene. It's to a song. I think it's "Run Run Rudolph" or something like that. And once again, they're hectically they're trying to get to the plane, and the same kind of situation happens again where Kevin's holding his dad's bag, and he sees a boy who looks just like him. And he counts him, or I don't know if he saw him. He gets the same kid got on the plane, and they all get on the plane, and Kevin gets lost because he's like messing with batteries. But he gets left basically at an airport. And
they start handing the luggage down to kid, and they said, "Give this to Kevin, give this to Kevin," and then
that's a great scene too.
That's fine.
But then obviously Kevin gets on a plane to New York City, and that's where he spends the majority of this film, and it's a lot of great scenes ensue. He obviously a big plot point in this movie is that he has his dad's credit card, which is how he's able to get into this major hotel. Yeah. And there's some great scenes in the hotel, the Plaza Hotel.
Well, I guess you might as well start out when Kevin first gets. They find out Kevin isn't with them.
Yeah,
handing the luggage down, say, "Give this to Kevin." The kids keep handing it off, and then the mom yells Kevin and passes out, which is hilarious.
Right.
So, and that's a hilarious scene for sure.
Yeah.
And then we go into, in the beginning, Kevin walks in on accident on the jerk uncle in the shower, and he says, get out of here, get the F out of here, and that comes back later, which is funny there.
It's a lot of the same, it's not the same stuff, but they keep the same kind of traditional stuff from the first one. Like, it's like the kind of, what's the thing, like, almost like a time-lapse type video of the family running around the house getting stuff ready. They get to the airport, and you do buy into the fact that they're like in a hurry. They're late to this plane. They get there, and that's how they kind of get separated again. So it's believable for the movie. I know our grandmother can't stand how like she's like, there's no way you lose your kid twice if you're like losing him once. But it's a movie, so I do agree though, Grandma. Anyway, so
it is a little unrealistic that he get left twice. But at the end of the day, it's a funny movie, and there are different funny scenes throughout this movie. And then ultimately leads up to the scene with all the booby traps in the main house that he goes to his uncle's house. But we might as well just bring up that sequence in particular, then go over some of our favorite scenes.
Well, obviously, as you can tell, Marv and Harry make an appearance again in this film. So once he goes to New York, obviously there's some cool scenes there with Kevin walking around the city, going to that awesome toy store. Once again, as a kid, I think how you said in the first one, how they do a great job of like pulling off how like we're afraid of like the basements, weird things like that.
Yeah.
They also do a great job playing off how amazing this toy store has to be for a kid to look at. I remember as a kid, I was like, I want to go to that toy store, look at these giant houses, all the toys. So another great job there connecting the kids and how they did that. And
a funny scene where Marv and Harry are hiding in kids' houses and they freeze like they're mannequins right here.
And that's kind of a cool way that they bring. I always wonder like how are they going to bring these characters back together, but then you do buy in like they snuck out of the prison on like a fish ship or whatever like that, something like that. Obviously, it's kind of ridiculous, but there's some great scenes with them. Obviously,
and then Harry says, "What does this smell like?"
Yeah,
and Marv says, "Fish."
These two definitely don't lose a beat from the first one. Honestly, their chemistry gets even better in this one.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene on like an ice skating rink where they're like Marv is stealing stuff as he comes by. Harry,
they're the sticky bandits, not the wet bandits
that's right.
anymore.
Exactly. They switched their names to the sticky bandits. So getting into like the main part of the film, which obviously everyone loves from the first one, they honestly one up, I think, the overall booby traps and stuff in this one. There's a lot more, I think. And
they're more deadly.
They're more deadly, as you can tell by the thumbnail.
I don't know, actually.
As you can tell by the thumbnail, it's a lot more deadly.
By this disturbing thumbnail that I hope everyone's okay with.
without a doubt, it's more deadly. Because let's
Well,
start
he gets shot by a flamethrower in the first
True,
one.
but let's start listing off some of the best ones. So, I think one of the most classic ones, just by the thumbnail alone. Let's just talk about that.
Okay.
Marv gets to like this, like I don't know
We
why.
switch off how much.
Yeah, so basically, Marv puts his hands on like a
Washer.
washer or dryer. I guess he was trying to. I guess he was trying to
Oh,
wash
it
his
is the
hands.
sink,
It's
yeah.
sink. And all of a sudden he's like gets electrocuted and his face turns like skeleton. One of our honestly, it's a great scene and we laugh at it every single time. It's a big reason why it's the thumbnail of this movie review. But it's a great
Yeah.
scene. So that's that's a deadly prank right there.
Yeah, another good one I'd have to say is I guess the well actually no, okay,
That's
I'll
deadly.
go to the Harry one first, which he's swinging on the bar. He tries to jump up to the
Oh.
ladder to get into the building, and there's like some slippery stuff on it, so he slides and then falls a long way right here.
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny one there.
That's a good one.
You got another
And then I think what you just mentioned, the paint cans, because it's honestly, once again, it carries on from the first one. It does a great play on it because obviously in the first one, they both get drilled by a paint can, but this one, they both act like they're being smart, which they were.
Yeah.
They like tricked him, and I feel like Kevin knew they were going to do it because there's I remember when like Harry was like, I'm coming up, Marv, and then Marv does his line like so ridiculous. He's
I'll get him! Ow! Right in the schnoz!
And then
Right in the
it comes by
schnoz.
and they both laugh and they make that's a great line right in the schnoz. And then they getting into like the deadly deadly traps. He like basically throws down a
like a
giant
barbell
like
thing.
barbell, this huge thing, and it drills him right in the forehead.
Oops.
And then they both fall back like 50 feet down a hole. Like two floors through the floor, and then he cuts it and it lands on their stomachs. I mean, that would easily kill
He
you in
says
any
that's
situation.
three.
Yeah, that's three.
Then it falls and that's four.
So that's a
Yeah.
deadly prank right there, I'd say.
Which it's actually worth mentioning. Another trap is when Marv actually gets in the house. He kicks the doors open and says,
Yeah.
"I've reached the top," and then doesn't realize there's a hole and falls through.
Where he's like standing up on like the wet paint, which is kind of ridiculous. He's like running in
Yeah,
place and
yeah.
he falls into the paint cans and he slides around and obviously he's
Yeah.
kind of stuck on one floor
Yeah,
of this.
he's like freaking spinning.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck in one area of this building. It's like an apartment building, really, abandoned apartment
being
building.
remodeled.
But like basically, he's trying to get from like the bottom floor to the top. He like the first thing he tries to jump on this rope and it falls down with a huge bag of like sand. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Flowers.
And then obviously he sets up all this stuff to climb up, and then so that's another scene there. And
Yeah.
then do you want to get into another trap?
Then I guess to get into the flamethrower one with freaking Harry getting burned again. His hair catches on fire, which I forget how. No, he pulls a light bulb that is actually like a flamethrower, right? He does the handstand to go into the toilet.
But in the toilet he put like some kind of like
He
oil
put the kerosene in
substance.
there, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you're like
Well, I'm pretty sure he pulls a light bulb and catches hair on fire. Then he does a perfect handstand to put his head into the
Yeah.
toilet because he thinks it's water, but it's actually gasoline or kerosene or something, and the whole place explodes.
well.
So,
Honestly, a scene that we've totally left out before they even get into this building, a classic little instance is when Kevin's on the rooftop with Bricks, and they're both on the ground. And Marv, once again, as getting to the deadly things, Marv gets hit in the face by like what 3 bricks, maybe 4.
oh, that's true. Yeah.
He gets hit by the first one, but then as he's throwing it
My
at
favorite
Harry,
line coming out.
he keeps getting hit like really. Marv gets hit by like 4 or 5 bricks in this scene alone.
Yeah, no, he's just not gonna hurt him.
They do a great job of like showing like the marks of the bricks on his head, even though it's not real, obviously.
They would have their heads
But,
split open.
Yeah,
I
bricks
guess-
are kind of a big storyline in this film because remember Kevin throws the
Yeah.
brick into the building. He's like, "Smile," and then that's actually a great line there. This will get. I'll let you get back into the pranks, but like quickly. When Kevin catches Harry and Marv stealing from that shop, which is a ton of money, he takes a picture. He says, "Smile," and Marv actually smiles for the picture.
Yeah, when they get caught.
There's
Yeah.
no reason to do that.
So another prank in the house, I guess, is when they're going up the stairs and a big like tool cabinet comes rolling down.
Yeah.
And they get like smushed against the door, and they both crack their noses at the same
They
time.
hear that sound.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
And then I guess the last one.
Oh yeah, so like basically from the beginning of that whole before that scene starts when Kevin's on the rooftop and then Harry and Marv on the bottom, they end up switching spots by the end of it, and that's when Marv throws as his line that I'll let you say later, and misses Kevin by a lot, but then they go down the rope and he lights it on fire, and that's when I think. When Marv says, "Hey Harry, are you wearing aftershave?" He's like, "That's not aftershave. That's not aftershave. It's kerosene."
Yeah.
And then it's like, why would someone use kerosene?
Why would you soak a rope with kerosene?
And then obviously Kevin puts fire from the bottom, and then it goes up, and then it breaks, and then they fall a long way with a perfect yell, and then they hit the ground. And they basically hit a bunch of paint in the air, and they look up and paint hits them, which is a big storyline going forward for like they're sticky with paint on them. That kind of concludes the big main act I would say of the film is that whole instance, and that's what Home Alone is. It's like him getting these two robbers and like bad guys. See the first one. Remember how like the first one, there was a main side character, that old man who was like scary in the beginning, but then you find out that he's a nice old man. He has family issues too, and it's a great storyline there. This one kind of similarly, it's a scary kind of older lady, pigeon lady, with birds all over her. And then you eventually he goes up to like her apartment, like wherever she lives, and
she's homeless.
She's homeless. It mixes in a good storyline again with a family, I'm pretty sure, and also they mix in like a good Christmas film with that like choir singing stuff and some cool stuff there. And I think another side characters is that the owner of that toy shop giving him like the turtle doves and stuff. Yeah. I think he's a little side character there. It's kind of funny. He's like he like doesn't realize he's like the owner, and he looks at the painting. It's literally him. Yeah, but I would say it's a big storyline there, and obviously she comes in just like the old man saved Kevin at the end of the first one. The bird lady comes in and saves him at the end of this one. Yeah,
I think the before we get into our favorite scenes and lines, the last big scene I have to mention is the scene with obviously the hotel workers are great characters and have some funny moments throughout, like the Chamberlain, welcome to the Chamberlain Hotel moment.
Oh shoot, we didn't talk about that.
They've been on to Kevin the whole time. They're like, how is this kid at this hotel? So they've been wanting to catch him. So they finally come up to the room, and that's when he plays the classic old Snakes movie. The Snakes movie that is not real, but he plays that main monologue. That's when he says, you've been making out with everyone, you've been smooching with my sister, and all those lines. And then finally he starts listing a bunch of names, and they say Cliff, who's ironically a worker there.
Yeah. Don't give me that. You've been spooching with everybody. Snuffy, Al, Cliff. It's a lie.
He says it's a lie, and then it's a really funny moment. Then he pretends to shoot him, and they go jumping out in the hallway, which is hilarious. Not to mention the shower scene where he hits his knee.
Seriously.
I have to mention really quickly, but why don't you want to mention?
Great callback to the first one with obviously the pizza guy using that scene to his advantage to like scare the guys off, because it really just it shows him being like outsmarting because they think it's actually a person in there. And that is a great scene when they all jump in the hallway and the volume's so loud and everyone's like looks out in the hallway from like the other rooms like. These are all like laying down, and then obviously like it's kind of ridiculous that they don't catch this kid like with a stolen credit card, like not really like checking in for like the parents, but like he does a great job with that. Like the one I can't think of his name. It's like Philip or Pedro or whatever, like he keeps like giving him like his gum for like a tip, and then one time he's like no thank you. Then he was gonna give him like, a whole lot of cash. He's like wait
I saw a little tip from earlier.
Great one. Then obviously the I can't think of his name. He's in Congo. He's obviously he has a huge smile in this film. He does a great job. He's like an accent. He's like I'd say he's like the lead worker maybe in that building possibly
manager. I don't even know if you
but he's pretty funny. He has a great line where he's like. Your limousine's out front with a pizza.
Yeah.
Compliments of the Plaza Hotel. And,
limousine and a pizza. Compliments of the Plaza Hotel.
And, honestly, I think they do a great job with their role. There's a funny scene where Kevin like slides through getting on the elevator and they all they can't get on. They all fall over each other.
Yeah, there are really just too many scenes.
Yeah, it's a great movie, honestly.
And why don't you say like a favorite scene and a favorite line?
One thing once again as a kid watching this is I really did think it was awesome. Seeing him get this amazing hotel, it looked unbelievable. It's like the best. It's like the King's Suite or something on the top floor. Unbelievable room.
This fridge is stocked.
Just imagining like having your own room to yourself. Just like in the first one when he has his own pizza to himself. This entire room. He's a limousine eating ice cream, watching The Grinch. Like just as a kid, it was just really cool to see. Even as an adult, it's still cool to see. But I'd say it's probably my favorite part of other than like all the funny scenes. I think it's one of the best things as a kid watching. It's just like imagining having your own hotel, all that stuff. My favorite line, guys, without a doubt, let me just open this just to make sure I don't misquote this here. I would have to say my favorite line comes from Marv. Probably my favorite character. Marv is such a great character, and he's so hilarious. But he says right at the end before the bird lady attacks him, "You may have won the battle, little dude, but you lost the war."
You've won the battle, little dude, but you lost the war.
Right before you get like eaten alive by first, he has an amazing
Yeah.
scream, which honestly is probably my second runner-up.
Might as well mention that. Right
Yeah. Exactly. He screams. He one-ups the scream from the first one with the tarantula. This one first, ridiculously.
Yeah, that is a great line. And that's a great scene in particular. And there are a lot of great scenes in this movie. Not to mention, I guess we can mention it now. There is an appearance from Trump in this movie that is pretty crazy. I didn't even know who he was at the time when I saw this. And now that everyone on Earth knows who he is really crazy to see that he's in this movie. But my favorite line in this movie would have to be when Marv and Harry are throwing the bricks down. I guess that is what he says. He says eat brick when he's at the top. Okay, yeah. So he's at the top. Marv's at the top and holds the brick and says eat brick. Kid throws and misses it.
Suck brick, kid!
That's probably, there's so many great scenes, but as far as, because I can't say a favorite line I couldn't have as his scream being electrocuted or being friggin' the other scream. So that's not a line. But
no, once again, it's a great film. It's kind of funny. Also, like the real families in Florida or somewhere in a horrible hotel while Kevin's in the king's suite by himself using his entire credit card. Then it kind of another callback. Remember on the first one, the older brother says, "Kevin, what'd you do in my room?" This time, he's outside talking to the girl, giving her the old lady with the birds, like the turtle dove, and I think he gives both or whatever that is. But then you hear the dad yell out, "Kevin, did you spend how much money on my credit card?" It's just kind of a funny scene there, and it just ends. Anyways, though, it was a great film. Honestly, one of my favorite Christmas movies. We'll definitely be doing a list for like top 5 maybe. And I think this is definitely easily gonna be in there 100%.
Maybe we can do a Home Alone 1 versus Home Alone 2 maybe.
Yeah, seriously. But definitely let us know what your thoughts are of Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. Do you guys think this is a great Christmas movie? Do you like this more? What do you think's better, the first Home Alone or this one? Let us know down in the comments. And so let's close it off.
Yeah, I'd say probably the second one's a little bit better. They're both great, but probably say the second one's better.
Be ready for a lot more additions to the Christmas series 2020 as we're getting closer and closer to Christmas Day. It is the 17th it's the 18th as we speak. So we're 7 days away. It's honestly a week away. So that's crazy. So a lot more movie reviews to come out. Because we have more of your recommendations to get to, and so stay tuned, guys. We'll be seeing you soon. So thanks for watching our movie review of Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.